Gamers and viewers, today we'll be talking about Call of Juarez Gunslinger. Gunslinger is the next addition to the series. It is pretty much set in the Wild West with a bounty hunter by the name of Silas Greaves. Silas Greaves stops off at a saloon and tells the tale of revenge and to hunt down the murderers of his brothers. You'll be a part of Silas' stories as he tells it in a very comic book novel style way. So pretty much since he's telling the story, the gameplay is going to be flashback and a lot of narration, and his narration is pretty unreliable at times, but they are also enjoyable. They either rewind up or change up certain enemies, make buildings appear, trees starts to grow, you name it. One of the most famous parts of this game is going to have to be the part where the Indian falls from the sky, and that is absolutely hilarious. The graphics of the game itself looks a bit cel-shaded, but fits the theme of the game very well. The Wild West immersion is definitely there. You'll see some of the nice textures. The textures are quite decent, and it does a very great job at painting that picture of the Wild West. And the environments, the best environments in the game have to be the canyons. You'll see that later in the game. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, really brings in the immersion right there of the Old West. The music to the game is very fitting to the Old West theme. The characters, the bard patrons did a really good job on the accents of the time, and also the legendary characters playing their role. The voice acting was not off at all in this game, so it's really well done. The gameplay of the game is a pretty much arcadey type of first-person shooter. You'll encounter some QTEs on the way, and while it's there in the game, it's really well placed. Your health is regenerative, and while you're shooting, your goal is to basically combo and change your kills. While you're gunning and shooting your enemies with weapons such as shotguns, rifles, multiple different pistols, you'll have two beneficial powers that will aid you in battle. By pressing Q, you'll notice that the upper left of the game has a power that builds up as you kill and combo your enemies. The power is basically bullet time. It paints your enemies red and basically slows down time for you to shoot and gun your enemies down, and it's really helpful in tight situations where there's a ton of them coming at you. The second bar would be in the upper right. This is a regenerative bar that basically keeps constantly regenerating once it's used, but basically it's a bar that's when you're near death. What this does is go into slow motion with the bullet heading right at you, and you have either two choices, dodge left or right, and basically it's a revival system. If you miss the bullet, you'll live. If you dodge the wrong direction and you get hit, you pretty much die and have to reload your spot in the game. The power itself is really helpful for situations where you're, bombarded by a bunch of enemies and they're surrounding you, you name it, or gunning you down. While you're playing the game, you'll also be earning XP, as I said before, when you combo and kill your enemies, depending on where you shoot them. Headshots are always better, and from there, when you earn enough XP, you'll be able to invest in the skill tree. You can level from there from 3 different trees. The trees will either benefit certain guns you have, or they will benefit certain skills for everything. So you might want to take a look at the tree and see how you want to go in the tree. The tree only has basically 2 paths. Keep in mind while you're playing the game, there are nuggets of truth laying around which are secrets. If you find them, they basically unlock these historical cards, and the cards are very educational. It teaches you more about the West than school probably did, so definitely keep an eye on those, and they're very fun to read, so good facts, fun things to find. The other thing is the boss battles in this game is really fun. Most of it's going to be an old style showdown where you'll be presented with a cursor on your screen. You basically place the cursor on your enemies, hold still, and use the WASD keys to control your hands on the gun. And depending on how you place your hands in the cursor, the game is focused on the speed and the focus. So depending on how you play this, it's going to play out like that. Pretty much you draw your guns when your enemy draw his, and you'll be having a showdown honorably. If you pull it before, and you hear your heartbeat, it's going to be pretty much a dishonorable showdown. The game mode comes with 4 different modes in the game. Being hard is the hardest difficulty you can access in the game until you actually beat it. After that, the True West mode will unlock, which is no HUD, and you'll also be able to do a new game plus. The game also includes 2 other modes. The arcade mode, where you will revisit the places you've been through and go on a shooting spree to outrank your friends on how fast and how many points you can combo up. There's also another mode called duel mode, where you'll be taken to fight all the bosses you faced before in the game, and famous villains. Also, basically you place yourself on how well you do with the focus and speed, and pretty much rank up online with friends. The only real cons I had about this game is pretty much doing the any mode of the game, you'll be bombarded with literally enemies everywhere. Sometimes the enemies will hit you so fast you'll die in 2 shots depending on your difficulty. I was playing on hard mode, of course it's gonna happen, so at least the game stays true to that. But sometimes they'll surround you, you'll have nowhere to go, or they'll shoot through objects, and when you're in cover, this will actually cost you to discharge your second chance dodge, and if it wasn't up, you'll pretty much die in the process. The game itself can be pretty much completed in approximately 6 to 8 hours depending on how fast you run it and how well you do, but overall my verdict about this game is that it is completely outstanding and a well executed game. It's enjoyable, it's fun, while adding in the immersion of the Wild West with a bit of an arcade feeling to it. The game itself is also very nicely priced for release. The value was only $14.99 on Steam, and probably cheaper elsewhere if you looked. It was worth every penny and possibly more. I hope to see in the game future improvement is that they add multiplayer, where you'll be actually able to showdown with other players, or maybe multiplayer death matches, who knows, just to keep it, going. But other than that, it's a very fun game. You should probably get it, check it out if you like it. And thanks for watching, guys. Remember to fan up, subscribe, and have a great day, and remember to game on.